Good morning, guys. It is about 9:30 in the morning here in Georgia. We're actually getting snow. It wouldn't be the first time that we've gotten snow down here, but I wanted something to go with my tea, my coffee, something quick, something sweet. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I absolutely love bread. So whether it's sourdough, white bread, wheat bread, banana bread, doesn't matter. So today we're going to make banana bread, and for this recipe, and I'll put the ingredients down in the description, you're going to need 3 large bananas or just 3 medium-sized bananas. It doesn't matter. You want them to be as ripe as possible. So my bananas this morning, they look like they were really ripe on the outside, like they were all brown and gross, but when I opened them up, they were actually okay, right? They hadn't ripened at all. So if you want banana bread immediately and you don't feel like waiting for days for your bananas to ripen up, all you have to do is just go ahead and peel them, put them in a bowl, mush them up, right? Just mush them up, put them to the side, cover them up with a piece of plastic, walk away for about 2 hours, and they will automatically just turn ripe in the bowl, right? They're out of the skin and they've been exposed to the room temperature, and so there you go. So you're gonna need 3 bananas. In addition to that, you're gonna grab some all-purpose flour, and to this you're going to add a dash of salt, like maybe a teaspoon of salt. I don't really like a lot of salt, so I just kind of put a half a teaspoon of salt. You're gonna add a half a teaspoon of baking soda. You're gonna add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and you're gonna add a teaspoon of baking powder, okay? And all of this will be in the description below. And you're gonna sift those things all together, and we're also gonna give them a little stir, okay? I'm gonna give them a nice little stir. Banana bread is easy to make. Any bread is easy to make. So stir that up. I'm gonna sit that to the side with our bananas. In the next bowl, and hopefully my mixer tends to fly off every now and then, I don't know why, we're gonna take a half a stick of butter. It can be salted if you want. It doesn't really make a difference. If you do use salted butter, then maybe don't put salt in here, but this is sweet butter. I like everything sweet, so we're gonna kind of mix up this half a stick of room temperature softened sweet butter. All right, and then we're going to cream that with our brown sugar. So this is, I use a cup. You can use a 1/4 cup depending on how sweet you want it. It can be light brown sugar, dark brown sugar. It doesn't matter. I was running out of light brown, so some of this is light, some of it is dark. The only difference I feel it's going to make is the color of the bread. If you use the light brown sugar, your bread will be a little lighter in color. If you use the dark brown sugar, it'll be a little darker in color. I'm not sure what color this one's going to turn out because I've never mixed them before. So we're going to cream our butter and our sugar together. There's no rush here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just lost some of my sugar. That's all right. Let's just cream this together. Get it a good mix in there. You can use a hand mixer. You can use your stand mixer, which is a little extra if you use the stand mixer. I do feel as though the hand mixer works quite well. Alright. You just want to get this mixed in there. If I had used a bigger bowl, I wouldn't be using so much of my sugar here, but I was being lazy and I didn't want to dig the bigger bowls out. So here we are. I'm just going to stop for a minute here, and I am going to gather my sugar that I lost. My counter is clean, and it's my food, of course, so I'm going to go back in and continue to cream this together. I know half y'all like, no she didn't. Yes I did, and y'all know goddamn well if it was y'all at home that y'all would have got yours off the counter as well. Okay, so let's whip this together. So we just want this as incorporated as possible. We don't need to beat it all day. This is not a cake. We don't need to cream this for 10 or 15 minutes or any of that. We just want to get it combined, the cream and the sugar. All right, so perfect. So to this, we're going to go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of oil. You can use vegetable oil. I use canola oil. Canola works perfect. Can you use vegetable oil? Absolutely. As long as the oil is plain, I guess. You don't know about being plain. This stuff is pretty toxic. But just canola oil, vegetable oil, either is good. Mix it all together. 1/4 cup of oil. 1/2 stick of butter. 3/4 to a cup of packed brown sugar. And there we go. All right, I'm liking this. I'm liking it. I have my oven baking at 325 degrees. Make sure that you preheat your oven. I'm using a fan oven, so that's why it's on 320 degrees. Hopefully that's what I just said, 320 degrees. I'm using a fan oven. If you're using the conventional oven, 350 degrees is okay. I would check it in about 45 minutes. For the fan oven, you're gonna let it cook for almost an hour. So I say at about 50 minutes in the fan oven, go ahead and take a peek. In the description, I will tell you the actual degrees for the gas oven. I believe it's 350 degrees. I actually have both a gas and the fan, but I mean the convection and the fan. But the thing is I like to bake the breads under the fan. So, but I will make sure I have the degrees listed in the description. So we're going to add to this 1 large egg, or whatever you got. You know, I don't really think it's necessary. I usually crack my eggs in a separate bowl so I don't get any shells in there, particularly if I'm recording. But I figured I would be brave today. We're going to mix this in. So 1 room temperature egg. And yes, it has to be room temperature. So if you are in a rush, take your egg out, turn on the oven, let it sit on top of the oven. That'll heat it up a little faster. Same with your butter. You know, if your butter is coming out of the fridge and you can't wait to have this bread, just kind of sit it on the top of your stove. Or if it's the summertime, I'll throw my eggs with my butter in the window and let it warm up there real quick. I keep my house pretty cold in the winter, so I have to use other means to heat up my eggs and butter. It'll never reach room temperature because I'm like an Eskimo in here, okay? And plus, I don't like paying the electric bill and the gas bill just hurts my feelings, okay? All right, so we also want to go, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just combine this together here. So let's get our eggs, our bananas. Let's get these two mixed in together. So I'm gonna put that there. Give me a second. All right. So we can go ahead and combine our little mixture here to our eggs. Why do I keep saying eggs? To our bananas. Let's combine the sugar and the butter and the egg to our bananas. I want to get all of it. I'm a waste not, want not kind of girl. I save everything. Glasses, cardboard. I reuse my Ziploc bags if possible, my freezer bags. You know, I don't really believe in wasting, particularly nowadays. And I will be putting some videos up over time about easy, quick meals to cook. Like if you have a large family. I can't find my thing. Okay, it doesn't matter. So let's just Just mix this in here. Give it a nice mix. I'm gonna bring that mixer back, but I just love the feel of this because I'm just a weirdo. Okay, so there we go. Okay, let's set this here. We lost a little bit of our batter there. Let's get that back in a bowl. Yeah, I did that. Yes, I did. You would have too. Okay, so let's go. I usually keep a little tray under here to catch that, but it's actually in this drawer, and if I move it, it's gonna move the camera. So guess what? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it alone. All right, so here comes the easy part. So we're just going to incorporate our flour into our wet batter here, and we're gonna do this manually, and we're doing it manually because we don't want to over mix it. All right, we just want to gently get it folded in there until it is where we want it to be. Okay, so we're gonna add, I like to use my good vanillas over there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use this up, but I honestly like to use at least a tablespoon of vanilla. You don't have to do that. I just like the flavor. You can use maybe like a teaspoon and a half, but I personally like to use a whole tablespoon. And I think I just saw a piece of the flour, not the, what is that? Yeah, that came from the vanilla, the lining on the vanilla. Glad I saw that. Usually if I'm recording, I tend to try to make everything perfect, right? So you don't see the mistakes and edit out this. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing any of that. So there we go. All right, that is perfect. So we have our vanilla, and you could put almond extract in here if you want. You could put almond and vanilla in here. Like, you can do whatever you want to do with your bread, like I'm going to do today, and I'll explain that a little later. But in the meantime, to my flour, I'm going to add some ground cinnamon. Okay, the cheap stuff works just fine. You know, I'm going to add a whole tablespoon in mine. I want to taste and see the cinnamon. Yep, I do. All right, otherwise you can add like a teaspoon. Trying to think what other. I guess that's it personally. You can add a little mace in here if you want, just a touch of it. But I'm actually going to add a tiny bit of ground nutmeg, and nutmeg is a very strong spice, right? So you don't want to be too heavy with this nutmeg. I swear it'll ruin everything. So you just want a tiny bit, just to give it a hint of flavor, okay? And it smells amazing, but you don't need a lot. You see it? So I don't even say, maybe like an 1/8 of a teaspoon. That's all you kind of really need with that mace. All right, so let's mix this in our flour. Start to give it a little color there. And personally, I like to eyeball a lot. I tend to look and see. So if I don't feel like I see enough color in here, I'm going to add more. Like right now, I feel like I want to add a little more of the cinnamon. And, you know, you can add too much, but then you kind of can't. I know that's just how I feel about it, okay? I want to taste the flavors. I want to taste the bananas. I want to taste the cinnamon. I want to taste, you know, the nutmeg. All right, so to this, we just going to get it in. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add the flour to the wet mixture. I'm just going to add half, and then I'm going to fold, add the other half, and then fold, okay? When we mix this, when we get towards the end, and we're finally mixing all of the flour in there, We want to make sure we don't over mix it. Don't want to over mix it. It'll just make your bread hard and it won't be as moist. So you just want to get it incorporated in there enough to where you don't see the flour anymore. And then that's it. So here's the thing. I like my bread to have all kinds of things in it. Like you can put cranberries in here. You could put raisins in here. If you don't like walnuts, you can use pecans. You can use whatever the heck you like, you know. And so I made a banana bread the other day with the kids. I kept it very plain. I didn't add anything in it other than the walnuts on the top, and I put them on very finely because they don't like raisins, they don't like cranberries, you know, they don't like any of the fun stuff. But today, right, and this bread right here, I'm gonna be adding some dates. Okay, dates taste amazing in banana bread. I just want to let you know, it tastes amazing in banana bread. So I'm gonna be adding in some dates. Make sure I got all the flour incorporated in here. I'm gonna add these dates in. They won't make it so sweet. Kids are gonna like this, but they'll be okay. They'll eat it anyway. They'll just pluck them out. So, you know, whatever works for me, right? They had their banana bread the other day. Just add a little dates in there. Again, you can add cranberries, you can add raisins. You know, you could put your nuts inside of here. You could put pineapple in here. You can do so many things with this. So I think that's enough mixing for now, because like I said, we don't want to over mix it, but I think I have all of the flour incorporated. So we're going to slide that over to the side. So here I have a little bread pan, and I'm just going to spray the outside. Is it necessary? I don't know. You know, I just don't want the paper to stick. I've always done it, so I just continue to do it. And then from there, we're just going to go ahead and add our bread batter into the pan. Okay. So there we go. Nice and easy. The oven's nice and warm, so it'll be ready for this in no time. I'm gonna get that in there. I can't wait for this to cook. I mean, the last one I made, it didn't even last a day. I mean, overnight the kids had destroyed it. I mean, they destroyed it. Give me 1 second. They destroyed it. The bread comes out nice and moist, you know, full of flavor. And just delicious, particularly on days like today where it's snowing out, can't get out, you just want to sit in the bed and just munch on something sweet. This is perfect for that. Let's get the rest of this batter in here. And I'm just going to try to make sure I evenly distribute the dates that I put in here. I know the kids are going to think they're raisins, but they'll be surprised when they find out they're dates. Not that they like them anymore, but they do add a nice, flavor to the bananas. Don't ask me why, but, and plus I love dates, so it's just me. I love a date. Love dates, love figs. I love all of that, right? Dates, figs, raisins, cranberries. I love nuts. I think I was a bird in my past life because I could munch on granola and nuts and things like that all day. So if I can incorporate them in my meals, I most certainly will. Okay, a little bit more in here. I'm going to try to scrape out as much as I can. I know y'all probably like, girl, just give it up. No, I'm not giving it up. I'm going to get it all out. Giving it up. You know, waste not, want not. Just keep it real. Waste not, want not. Yep. Compulsive. Alright. Okay, I think we got it all. Alright, let's just add this little bit to here. Whether it makes a difference or not, doesn't matter. I want it in there. All right, perfect. So we're gonna sit this here. We're gonna play with this a little bit, okay? And hold the liner. Kind of shifted in here some, so make sure I get this straight. When this is done, I'm gonna get my coffee. I'm gonna watch The Mummy. I love The Mummy. I can watch The Mummy over again, like the old Mummy. I don't remember that actor's name, but yeah, I'm gonna watch The Mummy. I just want it in here as even as possible. I'm just anal like that. Okay. Get it in there. I hate for my hands to be dirty. All right, so give this a little shake. Get it settled as much as possible. To be smooth on top. This is not necessary, by the way. It will cook itself to where it needs to be, but that's just me. All right. It tastes amazing. Okay, so on the top, I'm gonna add some walnuts. I'm not gonna do too much. Like I said, the kids don't like them. These are not, well, they ate them last time. These are not chopped walnuts. They are, I'm just gonna have to break them up myself. Yeah, there we go. I didn't add as much to the last one because of them, but I was really wishing that I did. So I'm going to just add a little more. Again, if your children don't like them, don't put them. Or just put a little less than you normally would. No. And I'm also going to add some of these seeds. Don't tell them I put them on here, but you know, I kind of like it. I like to do it. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit. It won't hurt nobody, right? I know I said a tiny, but let me get some in this corner, that corner over there. All right, they look like they're evenly distributed there. Okay, it's bothering me that this is not sitting in the corner right, but it's okay. All right, so this is it, guys. This is our quick and easy banana bread. I'm still a little tired, but this is it. This is our bread. We're gonna put this in the oven at 320 degrees for almost an hour. That should do it. Check your bread at about 45 minutes. It probably won't be done, depending on your oven, but about 45 minutes, it probably won't be done. It usually takes almost like just shy of an hour. So like 50 minutes is usually what mine bakes on in the fan oven. So you want to go ahead and check it at that time. And because I want to be extra, I think I will be. I can't help myself. I'm going to add just a little bit of these sparkling sugar, you know, on top of there. And this is just the white sparkling sugar, like baking sugar. Add a little bit of that on there to give it that sweet top. And that's it. That's it. You could also add molasses into this, which I do love molasses. A little bit of molasses on here would give it a nice little glaze on top. I'm not going to do that. My kids hate molasses, so I'm not going to do that to them. But this is it. Going in the oven for almost an hour, about 50 minutes to an hour, maybe less. And remember, this is a fan oven. But the description will be in the bottom on what you should set your oven on based on what type of oven you have. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, here we are, fresh out of the oven. When you guys weren't looking, I added some chocolate chips. I added some chocolate chips. So I'm just gonna take this stick it through, comes out clean, and we're done, okay? So let's see what we have here. I'm gonna take it out of the pan. Oh, that is really hot. I'm gonna sit it there. Yeah. All right, you can see that. Great. Let's take this away, take this away. piece of this. And look at that, nice and moist and delicious. Okay, I am going to really enjoy the sweet, nutty flavor. There's our banana bread. Enjoy.